Okay, Dale. It is recording, yes, but I don't see my picture on there.
No.
Join.
Did you tell him that you were going to schedule a meeting with the video on? Let's see.
I thought so.
Let's see, down at the bottom. If you'll go down to the bottom, it says start video.
Okay.
I think if you click on that, there you go.
There you go. That's it. Okay, now.
That was it.
Okay, I see some of them have already joined. I see Mario and Patty. So, right.
All right.
Okay, now I need to turn it over to you. So where is?
No, we won't start until another 14 minutes.
Okay, so
just tell them that we'll be with them at 7 o'clock. We'll wait for everybody else, and then I'll get started at 7.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Hey, my early birds.
Hey.
Hey, that's okay.
Hello.
That's okay. I don't know. All this is new to me too. I was on the phone with Dr. Lamb, so we'll start at 7 o'clock. So you guys just hang in there until that time, okay?
No problem. My computer's super slow. I wanted to make sure
listen. I do the same thing. So no, I'm glad you're there. Everybody will be chiming in, and Dr. Lamb will join you at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay. Good to see everybody.
Okay, I'll be there at 7.
Okay.
I'm coming back in a minute.
Okay.
All right. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your life?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know what to do with that much money. I mean, you could give away $500 million, $200 million. What would you do?
Right.
What would you do?
Yeah, right.
Let me see. Okay. Here.
$300 million.
I'm sorry. I feel so sorry for her.
But she'll get the 1,400 if she takes it.
What did she just say? What did she just say?
I don't know.
Dude, look over here. What is this? Tangy sauce was like. You like it tangy?
Huh?
So do you like it tangy? You know what? Do you know what tangy means? Like sour-ish. Your mother doesn't eat bacon, so you know you can't get that one. No. She eats turkey, but she don't eat pork bacon. Just here, just get the Chipotle ones. Hold that. Chili. Watch out. Oh, this one. Watch out.
Okay, for those of you that can hear me, this is Dr. Stedman. You may want to mute whatever device you're using until Dr. Lamb comes on and I come on, and that's only because wherever you are, everybody else can hear whatever's going on. So you may not want everybody else to hear everything that's going on where you are. So you may want to mute it until the time for us to start. It's just a suggestion.
They used to keep. They used to have a firehouse.
Just help yourself. Help yourself.
Watch it. You hit your head.
What did you do?
Hmm. Things like what? What'd you say?
Things like talkies, like really hot stuff.
It's not good for you. I don't know about it causing cancer. It's a little extreme. Dude, what? Do they not sell chunky chili anymore?
What do we do?
It's not the chili section. It's not the soup section.
$53 old. Just think, she did that 29. She'd be 82.
Soon, I'm glad she got it.
Smart though, she'll take it and put it on the sheet.
Mm-hmm.
Tax the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now that she doesn't have money, dude, like she'll have to take like after tax, like not working on jobs, have to pay out so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's better to invest that.
Taking what? Taking what? Oh.
I'm on it using my phone.
Out of the 300 mil, I'd probably invest a good 100 mil into like real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something like dumb that depreciates like cars or something, but like.
Hers are to the game.
Put it in real estate and put a little, maybe a little bit in the stock market. Not a lot.
Over like she's too old for that.
I think something like some companies that you know, like a McDonald's, like a Nike, something like stuff that you know is gonna like
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis.
Any buns in there?
I'm gonna start closing it.
What? What are you talking about?
Like 6 divided. How do you do that?
6 divided by 30? That'd be less than 1 because 30 is bigger than, or 6 is smaller than 30.
How does that work?
You take a bigger number and you divide it by a smaller number.
Dr. Lamb, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
When we get started,
So how many is
turn
this?
it over,
1,
I
2, 3,
need you
4,
to
5,
help
6,
me.
7, 10
I don't think
divided by 2.
They're going to have to learn how to mute so that when everybody's coming on, you can hear everything that's going on wherever they are. So we need to be able to explain to them what they need to do when we're joining our Zoom sessions.
Okay.
There's 10 pieces of bread.
Okay, so
Right?
All right.
8 pieces of bread.
you ready to get started?
I'm ready to get started.
8
Okay,
divided by 2.
For those of you that are there, this is Dr.
How many
Stedman.
groups?
Thank you for joining us for this
How
Zoom
many groups of
session.
2 is there?
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Lamb. Now, Dr. Lamb will be your clinical coach too.
So 8 divided by 2
He's
is
going to
4.
be a very, very important person in your life over the next year. He and I are going to be working very, very closely together, and a lot of what you hear today from Dr. Lamb, you're going to hear it over and over from me as your course instructor as well, or whoever your course instructor is over the course of the next year. So if you hear it
Grab
over
this one
again,
instead.
it's okay. That lets you know that the two of us are working very, very closely together. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Lamb at this time, and then he's going to drive the helm, and if I need to join in, then he will let me know if there's anything I need to do at any point. Dr. Lamb, I just go to share screen. Is that correct?
Oh,
No.
you're going to need to go to you're going to need to go to participants.
Okay, manage participants, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I've done that.
And then you can make me the host.
Okay, go to more and make host. I see. Okay.
There you go.
I have done that, Dr. Lamb.
All right. For those of you who are listening, you can go down to the bottom of your screen and click on mute, and we won't hear the background noise.
Well, please select your language. If you have your Byler bonus card.
Okay. Let me get started. All right. Good evening. I'm Dale Lamb with Gardner Webb. I am a professor on the main campus. I'm in charge of all clinical experiences, but you have the special treat of being having me to do clinical coach 2 with you, with Dr. Stedman. The purpose of a clinical coach is to help you with your task stream portfolio and competency folio. As you know, the state of North Carolina requires that you provide them with an electronic portfolio of evidence artifacts, much like the National Board Teacher Program. So my job is to help you with those 6 evidence artifacts. You also have to produce a competency folio for them, and you know you have to do 80 hours of clinical experience hours at your school each semester, and you have to document those. So when your CC1 or your clinical coach 1, who only makes a visit, comes out, they'll cover that with you. But let me quickly go over that with you. So we'll start out tonight with what are clinical experiences at your building? And so I have a list of suggested clinical experiences. If you can see those on the screen, Dr. Stedman should have provided these. If he's not, I will provide these to you.
$1.99 credit.
I'm muting some of these phones, and that'll help maybe. There we go. All right, so these are the things that you would do 80 hours a semester at your school. That averages out to 1 hour a day. Address a large or small group of adults. That fits a dialogue, inquiry, or communication competency. So what I've done for you, not only have I given you a suggested list of things that we'd like for you to do during that 80 hours each semester, I have linked those back to a competency for you so that you can put evidence of these things in your competency folder and task. I'm gonna have to. Okay. And so here are what the competencies are. But the first thing is we'll come out and meet with your principal and you, and make sure your principal agrees to supervise you. And you'll do 80 hours. You'll keep these things on your log. And it's a simple log of the date, what you did, and which competency it matches, and how many hours that you did it for. And you know what competency it matches because I have mapped it out for you right there. So if you conduct a small, addressed a small group of adults, that would be a communication competency. So you keep 80 hours of those each semester. So that's what you do for those. Now, it's important to know that all these things are linked back to a competency because you have to complete 21 competencies in your competency folio this semester in task stream. So keep that in mind. But it's not something additional to these activities. You just have to show us proof that you did these activities. Let me say that again. In your competency folio, it's not something new or additional. It's just proof that you did what you said you did on your log. That's all the competency folio is. It's just, we call them evidence or proofs that you did that. So if you conducted an IEP meeting, a snapshot or a screenshot of the email announcing or the agenda, that's enough proof. We just need some kind of icon, an artifact that represents what you did. And that's what goes in your competency folio. It's really easy. So you do the activities, you write down the log, your principal signs off of it, you put some sort of evidence that you did it or proof that you did it in your competency folio, you're good. Now, again, this is a state requirement. They have to see that you did your hours and that you actually, and they want proof that you actually did it. Now, for those of you, all of you are in the add-on licensure program, there's one little glitch here, one little glitch. If you plan to get licensed in Virginia, you're going to need more than 80 hours a semester. You're going to need 80 hours for 4 semesters, or you're going to need 110 each semester. Virginia has a 320-hour requirement. You'll be fine in North and South Carolina doing what we're doing, 80 hours a semester, but Virginia requires an extra semester of that for some reason. I don't know why. But that's a hard and fast rule with them. So if you're planning to ever get licensed in Virginia, please know that you need, signed by your principal, 320 hours of these things. Virginia, however, the good news is Virginia doesn't require the competency folio. You got to do it for North Carolina and South Carolina, though. So it's according to where you are. So just know that. So your clinical experience are these activities right here. If I were you, I'd get with my principal and say, you know, let's figure out a time and a place that I can do these activities right here. And these translate to your competency folio. You have a log of these activities, you sign it, you upload it for comments at the end of every semester in task stream, and you're good to go. And you create your competency folio out of it. You got to do one of each of these 21 competencies this semester. And you say, well, what am I going to do? Well, you just look at this list right here. And these are the things that you'll do to meet your competencies. In addition to these activities satisfying your competencies and just having a little proof, you can also use evidence artifacts. And so what I've done for you as well is I have mapped out. So, and you're going to be working on the AppSell and the AppTell this semester. So by doing these activities, which you will do in the AppSell and the AppTell, you will also have satisfied competencies by doing those as well. So you say, well, Dale, what competencies? 1, 3, 6, 12, and 20? Well, competency number 1 is communication. 3 is conflict management. 12 is organizational, and 20 is time management. So you can satisfy competencies by not only doing your activities, or you can also satisfy them by doing your evidence artifact. So you shouldn't have any trouble getting proof that you met these competencies through your internship experience, either your evidence artifact work or your list of subjected activity, your actual clinical activities. Okay, so the question is, if you've been in an administrative role the past 2 years, can you use? Absolutely. I mean, I'm only interested in that you have accomplished them. It doesn't matter about the time frame. So if it's from years past, yeah, you can do those. That's fine. That's a good question. As long as you've got proof of what you've done, that would be great. All right. So that speaks to the clinical experience. That speaks to the competency folio. You will be getting a username and password. Banner will be dumped into TaskStream tomorrow. And if all goes well, you will be able to, sometime the first of the week, hopefully by Tuesday when we have our town hall meeting, you'll be able to sign up and log in and create you a TaskStream account. This is called a DRF portfolio. This is where you put your evidence artifact work right here. You'll have a screen that looks like this. This is the work screen, comment screen, scores, results screen. This is where you will upload your work. As you can see, for you this semester, the things that are due in your DRF portfolio and TaskStream is the AppSell, AppTell, School of Ed dispositions, and that's just a self-assessment. You can do that tonight if you want to, a self-assessment of where you are, and then competency analysis. I mentioned competency analysis last because it's the last thing you'll do this semester. The competency analysis is your self-assessment of how well you did on the 21 competency proofs that you put in your competency folio. So you got to, you do your evidence artifacts, you do your clinical experiences, and then you kind of keep a track of what you've done. You keep a record of it. And then all of a sudden you say, all right, I can go back and link these to my competencies now. I can put a piece of proof. I can take a screenshot, an email, a pamphlet, a flyer, take a picture with my cell phone of me and a group of people, or, some sort of an icon that proves you did what you said. You go back and put those in there, and then you do a little self-analysis of how well you did. You say, well, Dale, why would I need to do a self-analysis of how well I did? I need to know that you know what you're doing. So that's the last thing you'll do. So you'll do your AppSell, your AppTell. You can do your dispositions now. Those are just soft skills. Where are you right now? And then at the end of the semester, you will grade yourself on yourself on how well you did on your competency folio. So that's what we'll be doing task stream this semester. All right. The competency folio will be here on Tuesday. You'll click on folios and web pages, and there's a reason why we put it in a different place and not on your DRF. You will eventually move it over to your DRF when it's complete, and we'll grade it there. But to keep you from submitting it too quickly, see, it always wants you to submit stuff. So that you don't submit it too quickly, we put it over here, and we'll teach you how to upload it. And you'll just, for a communication competency, a really good one would be a screenshot of an email asking permission from your principal to start your PLC for your AppSell. How simple would that be? Just boom, and you just upload it, and you're good to go. And change man. I mean, these things are not supposed. This is just kind of a record-keeping place for you to have proof that you did these things. And so you'll have your competency folio. The competencies are not something separate. They are done as a byproduct of your clinical experience, your 80 hours, and your evidence artifact work. So don't look at it as, oh, I got to do something new and different, or this is more. No. It's just a record keeping of the things you already did. Okay, would I repeat what TaskStream logins? You will use your Gardner Web username and password for TaskStream, but they should be available Tuesday. They're going to download them in Banner tomorrow, from Banner tomorrow, and all the errors and mistakes, hope they'll get worked out. Monday's a holiday, and Tuesday they're supposed to work. And we'll send you an email when they work, but they should work on Tuesday. Now, right now, everything Web Connect, Blackboard, email works off your Gardner Web username and password. So will your TaskStream account. This is a good point. Don't change it. Let me repeat that. Don't change it. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Do not change your username and password for any of those things. They should all be one and the same. If you change and use a different one in TaskStream, it's going to recognize you twice, and you're going to have two different portfolios. That won't go well for you. We assigned you a username and a password for a reason. Use it. If you can't remember it, write it down. Don't change it to something you can remember just because it's convenient. Keep your Gardner Web issued username and password for Blackboard, for email, for TaskStream, for everything we give you. You keep the same one because we know what it is. And if there's a problem, we can bail you out. If you forget it, or you create 2 or 3 accounts in TaskStream changing your password, I can't help you down the road. So if we hold IEP meetings and attend SIT meetings, can we use the signature pages or sign-in sheets for proof we participated? That's perfect. I want something that simple. Thank you, Emily. I want something that simple. I don't want this. I don't want these things to, I'm the one that grades them. And I'm the one that sets the grading curve for everybody, but I'll grade yours. If you spent days doing it, I'm not going to be happy because you could have been doing something else more important, like actually being out there on your feet learning the job. This is not a paperwork kind of thing. I just want to see icons. I want to see, I want to see just artifact. I was just a proof. I just want to see something that represents that you were there. I do not want you. I do not want you making this a thing. This is a byproduct of your evidence artifact work and a byproduct of your clinical experience hours, which is where the learning will take place. All right. So that's what a competency folio looks like. That's what a DRF portfolio looks like. You will get to get in here first of next week and get your hands on this. Can we use hours of clinic experience from this past week or earlier? Yes. Pretty much anything since school was out in June you can use. Because a lot of times you come in the summertime and help with scheduling or do something like that. Yeah. You know, you certainly can. Okay. We just have to, but we just have to show you, yep, you just got to show me proof that you did that. You know, whatever it is, and I'm pretty lenient. I mean, I'm not so much interested in that, you know, that you spend a whole bunch of time, but if you got a way to show me that you were there, perfect.
Dr. Lamb, can you hear me?
I can.
What I want them to know is they're going to realize real soon that a lot of what they do on a daily basis is going to fit into what we're going to require of them. They've been doing administrative stuff and didn't even realize it was administrative stuff for a long time. Yeah. So what we're going to teach you to do is that everything that you do on a daily basis is probably going to count for something towards what your portfolio is going to look like.
Sure.
So I want you to begin releasing that stress, because you know, I know all of you are at that place. Over this week and next week, you're going to see how the puzzle pieces are going to start coming together. And that's what Dr. Lamb is sharing with you at this point. So just know that it will come together. Go ahead, Dr. Lamb.
Thank you. So if we go back and look at a couple documents, the open-ended competencies for your competency folio, they're the same as the suggested activities. They're one and the same. Please remember that they are one and the same. It's not your competency folio is not something different. It is just markers or icons or proofs that you did what you said in your evidence artifacts and you did what you said in your clinical experience time. We don't have.
Oh, okay.
We don't have the luxury of being on campus with you every day. And so this gives us kind of a view of what you're doing or not viewing. All right, so that's task stream. That's the DRF portfolio. Why do I call it a DRF portfolio? Because that's the name. You see that little button right there? It says DRF. So that's your DRF portfolio as opposed to your competency folio. And I'll teach you how to set up your competency folio. There's a little trick to having to do that, but you can't set it up until it appears over here in your message center. So first thing, you establish a task stream account. You'll have your DRF portfolio will be waiting for you. I will send you the link, and it will come under your message center of how to upload your competency folio, and we're good to go. We're off and running. You're keeping a list of the things that you did just on a piece of paper. You can do it. You know, you can do it digitally, or you can just do it on a piece of paper. And see, that's why I had you go ahead and write the competency and it will remind you when you go back and start your competency folio. You say, "Oh gosh, what am I going to put in there?" You go back and look at your log. Oh, I did this. That fits that competency. I'm sure I have something that's easy proof of that. So this is kind of to help you as well, to get you started and get you organized so that you don't get overwhelmed. All right. So now, let's see if I have any other documents that I want to show you. I don't, so I'll just close these out. All right. I have.
And Dr. Lamb, unless those are embedded in the course syllabus or in the handbook, I have not sent them those documents.
No, you haven't, because I just got the final revision today. So
okay.
But you will give them to them.
Okay.
All right. Needing my help. Along with your MELS 601 shell, if you don't have it now, very quickly you're going to have an XM internship shell. and it's going to look just like your class shell in Blackboard. And when you open it up, it's going to look just like this. It's going to have my name on it. But more importantly, over here to the side, it's going to say MELS 601 for 3 or 5 semester program. That's you. So you click on that tab. When you click on that tab, it's going to remind you. It's going to have some kind of a sample syllabus in here, which is not important. The site mentor handbook for your site mentor, scale handbook that has all the evidence artifacts in them. But more importantly, it's going to have an overview of the tasks that we have to do this semester in terms of the AppSell and the AppTell. And it's going to have some boxes right here. And it says AppSell Task 1 for Clinical Coach Review. So after you've peer reviewed it among yourselves, you can come right here 2 times. I'll let you do it. You can send it to me through this, and I'll get back to you same day, and I'll tell you what I think. You know, that's the service that I'll provide for you. Is that now don't send me the rough stuff. After it's been peer reviewed, drop it off to me, and I'll tell you if it's going to pass or not when it goes to your grader. And I'll give you 2 times on the first one of each of these tasks to send it to me. Again, don't send me the rough stuff. Send me the stuff after it's been peer reviewed, and I'll tell you if it's good to go or not. And then as we go through all of these, you can up to 2 times you can put them in. And then now you notice on the AppTell, you only got 1 time on the AppTell. You know, after the first one, actually I fixed the box where you can use the same box twice if you have to. So I'll be a softy and tell you that. But I'm expecting by the time you get to the AppTell, you won't need me but once. Hopefully you won't need me that much at all. But now I'm here for you. I will get back to you same day. It's not like you're going to put it in there and wait a week or whatever. I will get back to you same day. If you'll look up at the top right here, you see my name. There are no items waiting for me to grade. I grade morning and night. So I will get back to you same day and tell you that you're ready, if it's good and you're ready to move on to the next task. And so
Dr. Lamb,
that's the
also,
primary function of mine.
Dr. Lamb, as their instructor too, they can feel comfortable as they're learning how to do this. They can reach out to me at any time during this semester for me to look at, Dr. Stedman, am I in the right direction? Or if there's something you don't understand, you reach out to me as well.
Well, I was just getting ready to talk that. When you're in the rough stage, before you even get maybe to peer review, that's what Dr. Stedman's for, because he's more content based. I'm kind of at toward the end of the process. Is this going to make it past the grader or not? He's there to support you with the nuts and bolts kind of stuff. So if you think you need help before it goes to peer review, your instructor's the person to help you with that. That's what he's being paid for. That's what he's there for. He's really good at it. I'm the after the peer review. Did you get it? Is everything there? Because I'm the last step before you submit it for grading. And so I check to make sure all the rubrics and all the pieces and you know, I check the final check to make sure that everything is there. Dr. Stedman, it won't insult me, but it certainly won't insult him if you send him rough work. I mean, your work's going to be rough in the beginning because you don't really know what the expectation is. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to help you with that. And then you're going to move it to the peer review. Then it's going to come past me to make sure that everything is good. So by the time it gets to me, it should be really pretty final form. But by the time it goes to your grader, now I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to brag on Dr. Stedman, not so much on me. When we do this process, we've never had anybody's work that didn't pass, ever. 7 years. We haven't had anybody's work that didn't pass that went through this process. And we've not lost one, and we've not had one that didn't graduate. Now, we had one that took 5 years, but doggone surely graduated. We'll stay with you. We will stay with you. But we have a process of how this works. And we have adopted this process throughout the whole of the MELS program because it works so well. I do all clinicals, and I supervise all clinical coaches, and so they all do the same process that Dr. Stedman and I do. We train them in this process. You know, instructor helps you with your work, rough work. Then goes to peer review to start getting some shape and some form. Comes to the clinical coach to make sure it's good to go. You get 2 times. Send it back and we'll get it. And then it goes for grading. I'm telling you, we've never had one that didn't pass the grading. We've never had one that the state didn't say it was great. Everybody, all of our folks got a license. Boom, out the door. That's what you're here for. You got in to get out. We don't want you to be here for 5 years. I don't want you to be as old as I am when you finish. We want you to finish on time and do quality work. And so we have a process. And if you'll follow the process, we'll get you through. And the state will be happy with your portfolio. Virginia will accept your hours. You can get licensed there and in South Carolina. And we'll help you get a job. We will help you get a job. I updated my list today. I'm happy to say let's see. Let me see here. Well, man, no. I had it right there. But anyway, I updated today. I have 5 new interns that got jobs over the summer. 5 new ones, 5 more. And so between Dr. Stedman and I, we've got over 100 working right now in North Carolina. Over 100. Added 5 more this past week. The program works.
It does.
The program works. You will be prepared.
Dr. Lamb, did you see Corey's question?
How we share our work with our peers. Our peer reviews normally done by our groups. All right, now, Dr. Stedman, you put drop boxes in, and let me put them in discussion board for you to put for the students to put their rough work.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So when you go to Dr. Stedman's 601 shelf for your class, when you click on discussion board, I believe his are in there. It'll look something like this. If mine will come up, he has a place for you to put your components in for the peer review, or your task. Excuse me. He has a place for you to put your task in for peer review. Should be under discussion board. If it's not, I will fix it tonight. But I believe we did that when we were doing the shell a couple of days ago. I'm sure we did. We always do. So.
And that's where their Zoom groups come, the assigned Zoom groups. That's who you're going to be working with this semester. Some of you there are 4, some of you there are 5, but we didn't want any less than 4 because of, you know, that's a good number to work with. So
here's the deal. You post the work here on discussion board. Your group can download that work, and the first 2 tasks. Is it the first 2 tasks, Dr. Stedman? We're just going to let you do the written review. Okay. And on the 3rd task, they start doing the Zoom groups.
That's what you and I had talked about, yeah. Yes. So because the 4th one is their reflection, and they won't need to do anything with that as for themselves.
Yeah. So the notion here is we want to focus on the content of the review more than the process, whether it's written or Zoom or all that. The Zoom groups are good. Those are fun things to do, and it's a neat new way to communicate and all that. But we want you to focus the first 2 weeks and the first 2 tasks on the content of the work. Does it fit the rubric or not? Are they doing what they're supposed to do? Now, we were talking earlier today. Dr. Stedman and I decided a little while back that we're going to stop giving exemplars. In terms of, we want it to look like you want it to look. It's got to be APA and got to be written, and then you create some other things that go. But we want it to look like you want it to look. So there's, as long as you hit the rubric, it can look pretty much any way you want it to look. I mean, in terms of the format. And so we're going to cover that in just a minute. But yeah, he's got a place in discussion board for you to go in and put your work for your so your peers can go in and download it, and they can put the written peer review back in the same place on the discussion board thread. Really simple. And then after we do that a couple of times, then we'll start the peer groups with the Zoom peer review, where you'll do them. You'll do it written to begin with. You'll still put it in there, and they'll do it written, but you'll come online and face-to-face like we're doing tonight, and you'll talk to one another about it. And that's a valid thing to do. But, you know, first of all, we want to make sure you're focusing on the content and the rubric. And so we're not going to do Zoom until the third task for that very reason. We want you to learn to look at the content first and not be worried about, am I going to be Zoom master and how do I do this? And I've never done that. I don't want that level of worry on the first 2. I want to focus on the work. And if you focus on the work the first 2, then it gets easy after that. It becomes second nature to you. All right, let me answer more questions here. Can we use our current PRF schools for task 1? Dr. Stedman?
So you're saying they want to name.
We don't normally do that, but Dr. Stedman and I have come to a consensus on this one. If you take a leadership role, yes. Because the things that we're going to have you do are leadership role in the PLC, where you set the norms, the values, the big idea, and that you're the leader. So if you have a current PLC and if you can take the leadership role in that, then no, you don't have to form another one. That's not important to me. But what's important is that you read Richard DeFore on PLCs and understand norms and values, the big idea, roles and responsibilities, all of those kinds of things, and that you establish those or you put those in place and that you enforce those. Just getting 4 or 5 teachers together is not a PLC. That's just a complaint session, unless you organize it, with roles and responsibilities, norms and values. So yes, you can do your current one as long as you're the leader. Did you say the class will be available on Tuesday, or should it be already available? I'm doing a town hall session on Tuesday for all interns. You'll hear the same story from tonight, because I do this for everybody's. Will you share all those Word documents with us, leadership? Yes, I will. Those will be on our internship shell, and I'm going to send out everything that I covered tonight. I'm going to send out to Dr. Stedman, and he can either put it on his Blackboard or he can email it to you. So yes, you will get everything that we've gone over tonight. You will get those things. But yes, he has a discussion board in his shell where you can upload them, and you can use his shell, his 601 shell for your peer review. Now, I also have in my shell, as you can see, for my internship shell, I have places here that you could upload them here as well. And y'all could, if you wanted to get somebody that's not in your class to see your work, if you had a friend in the program or a former person, a person that's somewhere else in the program, like in a later year or a different class or whatever, and you wanted to share your work with them. And I do have some groups that work across cohorts or across classes. I've set up the same thing here. So your friend could come to this shell because they have access to, and you could do groups outside of your class if you wanted to. And I've got a couple that do that. Now, that doesn't take the place of your Zoom groups or your groups in your class, but I've got some. It's not a lot. Let's look. But you can see right here, I've got, a few folks that go across the classes that somebody's not in their class, but they know somebody else in the program. You can post it here and they can have access to it as well. You just tell them you put it in there. And some people just put it in and just say, hey, y'all, what do you think about this? They want, you know, they want a second opinion from somebody not in their class, maybe, you know. Hey, what do you think? And I always chime in on those as well. I like to see those as well. So I have a couple, you know, in my shell that you'll get access to next week. You'll have where our group comes in right here, and you're able to come directly to me and only to me. Only I can see it. When you click on MELS 601 for the 3 or the 5 semester program, I'm the only one that can see your work from there. And you're communicating directly with me through this shell. Or if you go down to discussion board, clinical coach review, draft task, if you go down to the discussion board, if you go to that one, then anybody can see your work. You won't normally use that one very much because Dr. Stedman's got a very active group. What happens is sometimes we have small groups, and there's not really enough for them to, you know, to rotate around and do different groups. And so sometimes we use this shell, like if Dr. Stedman's got 7 students and I've got 5, you know, they pretty much have to work together all the time. We can let them work in different groups across the classes that way. But he's got both classes this time, so y'all can all share in the same and see his stuff. So that's what I said. We probably won't use discussion board this semester in my shell, but you definitely will put your work in here in 601 if you want me to read it and comment on it. But again, only after Dr. Stedman has helped you get it started, your peer group has told you it's good, bad, or indifferent, and you have fixed it, and then it comes to me, and then then we're ready to roll. We're ready to move on. Okay. All right. Now, I talked with Dr. Stedman earlier today, and one of the things that I am most concerned about myself is that I give you enough, but I don't give you too much. I don't tell you, I don't overdo it on the evidence artifacts in terms of what to do. These things are pretty prescriptive. The tasks are pretty specific. The first one is the APSEL, Analysis and Action Plan for Student Learning. It has 5 tasks. The first one is research PLCs, just what I was just talking about. Richard DeFore is the king. And it says assume a leadership role in developing a PLC. And that's why I said a current PLC is okay, but only if you take the leadership role and develop it by instituting norms and values, roles and responsibilities. There's a certain way we want things done. You're supposed to assume that role. You can't just sit in the back of the room and say that, yeah, I was in a, did that. Because you're going to lead them to research your school-wide data and suggest a course of action to the administrative team to fix some gap in your test scores. And so here's the definition of each of the tasks. Now, and here's some definitions, important terms or concepts. And here are the required 601 competencies. Now, because you are an add-on licensure, you have to do all 21. Write that down. It says 8. That's for people who are only doing the APSEL. You do 8 for the APSEL, but you will do the others. You do 12 for the APSEL, but you'll do the other 9 when you do the APTEL later this semester. So you have to do all 21. Again, they're not something separate. As having done the APSEL work and the APTEL work, and I have linked it again. I showed you if you do this task, it fits that communication, and then you got your open-ended ones from doing your clinical experiences. You should hit all 21 by the end of the semester. You shouldn't. They shouldn't be that hard for you to do. And then here's kind of a sample, but so let's get over here. So here's what we'll have. Become an educational leader who demonstrates knowledge, skills, ability to promote the success of students by facilitating the articulation and school. Okay, so you're going to, we'll research PLCs and develop an understanding of the concept of practice. We'll strategically select peers based on strengths and serve on their PLC. So you'll need to get permission from your principal to form a PLC or to take the leadership of a PLC that's already formed. Now, here's what we're talking about. These are the artifacts, products, icons, proofs that you might create having done this. You might have minutes, photographs, presentations, letters, video clips, screenshots. Those would be your artifacts that you would generate by doing task 1. Now, here's your evidence. The evidence is a written narrative. In narrative form, using APA guidelines, the candidate will describe the process. And so here's your prompt 1, and here's your, remember, when I talk about there are 6 evidence artifacts, that's what I mean. There are 6 evidence artifacts. The evidence is a written narrative that goes in Blackboard first. Dr. Stedman helps you with it. It gets reviewed by your peers. I check off on it. It goes to task stream for grading. That's the evidence narrative. The artifacts are the things that you generate along the way that you will later use as proof of competency. So it's not a bunch of different things. It's all integrated together. And that's what we're trying to teach you. You will create an evidence narrative that will get, will get in rough drafts and get comments and fixed, and eventually it will get to task stream and get graded as a whole project, as a series of 5 tasks that you put together in one narrative, and it'll get graded. But also the byproducts of doing all that work will create artifacts or proofs or evidence proofs that will go into your competency folio and that you will keep a record of. So it's not 4 different things. It's actually just one thing. It's different facets of that one thing. And so here's the directions for task, for task 1, and here's the prompts that go along with that. And here's task 2 and the artifacts that you might generate from having done that. And here's prompt 1 and prompt 2 for task 2. These are things that tells you exactly what we want you to do. Candidates prescribe and evidence data collection strategies and criteria in the process of identifying the most pressing need. You sat down with your PLC after you looked at your test scores and you say, all right, what do we need to work on? What's our biggest gap subgroup wise that we can address? It's just that simple. It tells you exactly what you want it to do, and then here's artifacts that will be generated from doing this task 3, and here's the prompts for task 3, and then in task 4 you simply, you've got a prompt, you got 2 prompts in task 4, and then 5 you will reflect back and you will tell what you did to meet, those 12 competencies that were highlighted earlier up here. These are the 12 that you're to address in task 5. You are to address these 12, and just in a narrative form, what you do. You don't put your artifacts in here. You just address the 12 competencies that were right here. Let me go back. These 12. So in task 5, again, in task 5, you just write to these, that you know that you did these things in task 5, but you don't put the actual screenshot or the minutes or the video. Again, that goes in your competency folio. This is just a written narrative when you get to task 5 of the app cell. It's just a written narrative that reflects on kind of what you learned, which competencies you hit, and what you learned by doing those competencies. Pretty simple.
Okay. You're sending it from which email? What do you mean?
You stop and answer some chats.
Okay. Dr. Lamb, while you're looking at that, several students, and I just discovered something going through in your course syllabus. There, you'll see mentioned every once in a while. It'll say refer to artifact pacing guide on page 20. I didn't know where that was because I'm learning my way through some of this now. Actually, that is when you print out your course syllabus, that is going to be page 20 before it actually comes to the course calendar of events, and it'll have a artifact pacing guide. So when you see in anything, it'll say refer to Artifact Pacing Guide, page 20. It is actually on page 20 of the document when you print out your pacing, your course syllabus. And also, one student emailed me today or texted me, and they were asking about the APSL Task 1. If you look in your course syllabus, it'll tell you week by week. If it's a rough draft, it'll pace you out. You can look at that, and it'll tell you when everything is due based on those 4 tasks for the APSL. It is a process. You build on it week by week.
Yeah. And remember that these 5 tasks of the APSL are not independent. They're interrelated. And in the end, when you submit your APSL to task stream for grading, it will have all 5 tasks in one paper. It will be as if you wrote it all at one time. They are not independent. They are building on each other from these tasks. So at what point should we contact the members of our Zoom groups today, tonight, tomorrow morning, as soon as possible? Remember, your Zoom group, even though you're not going to do any Zooms for peer review for a couple of tasks yet, they're going to be the people who do your peer review. So you need to get in touch with them and start setting up some times down the road that you're going to get together in the weeks to do your reviews and kind of, get to know one another and figure out where you are and what you do and that kind of thing. Yeah, you could go ahead and start setting up your peer review groups now, because they're actually, we call them Zoom groups, but they're peer review groups that are going to do some Zooms, in a couple of weeks here.
Dr. Lamb, they've all had the instructions to set up their free Zoom account. So even though they're not doing peer reviews, it's okay in your Zoom groups to go ahead, somebody take the initiative to say, okay, I'm going to set up a Zoom session with the 4 people in my group, and it's okay for y'all to go ahead and practice with that and meet each other and go ahead and make a decision about, that. You can go ahead and practice that now. I would encourage that.
Yeah. We have started a text group but not done Zoom sessions. It's okay, yeah.
That's okay, yes.
Yeah, that's fine. Just start getting in touch with one another. But you might want to begin to do some Zoom, just a social Zoom,
yes,
to learn how it works and those things before it comes time. Yes, your Zoom groups are the same as your peer review groups. Yes, you can get on and play around with it. That'll be fine. You get 40 minutes, I believe it is.
That's it. But you can turn around and do another 40 minutes if you need to.
Yeah, somebody else can sign in. You can do 40 minutes. They get kind of touchy if you try to do 40 back to back. So somebody else in the group can sign up to do 40 minutes. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. We have listed in Blackboard, is that where we'll access? Yes, you will. You will. Mine will be an XM internship course. Mine will say XM internship. It'll be right next to his course. You've got one course right now, MELS 601. When another one shows up, that will be mine. Is there a minimum number of required evidences for each task? No. There's each task has, you have to write a written. Let's be clear. The evidence is the written document. That's called the evidence. The artifact is what you produce as a result of having done that. So if you're asking me, is there a certain number of artifacts due for each one of them? No. It tells you what you need to have. Your course will be added later. Yeah, it should be in by Tuesday. APSL stand for Applied Analysis
on the carpet.
Plan. Applied Analysis Action Plan for Student Learning. It's right here. Let me go up. Zoom group somewhere on Blackboard. Yeah, they're in Dr. Shellman's Blackboard.
Dr. Stedman.
Dr. Stedman's Blackboard.
And it says Zoom groups.
And that's the same as peer review groups.
Right.
All right. So the question was analysis and action plan, just like I said. Analysis and action plan for student learning. That's what APSL stands for. And so what you're basically doing is You know that every school in North Carolina, every public school and charter school is required to have a closing the gap program where you're supposed to look at your own test scores and figure out a local initiative, not a district or a state, but something that you can do to target a group of students at your school. And that's what we're teaching you to do. It's exactly what we're teaching you to do. It's what every school is required to do that you're going to learn to do later on. You're going to look at your group data, your different subgroup data of different groups at your school, and you're going to look and see which one is the most pressing need, and you're going to figure out what from the research, what does the research tell you that you might be able to do with those students to help them achieve more. I mean, that's what we do in the school business. And so this is a real thing. Every principal is required to do this every year. It becomes part of the school improvement plan. And here's a little secret I'll let you in on. What we're teaching you to do through the process of the 6 evidence artifacts is to build a school improvement plan. The APSEL is your learning program, is your academic program. The second one is your staff development program, the APSEL. The third one, the OMA, is your management routines and master schedule. The fourth one is your school community and parent involvement one. That's called the SCIP. The fifth one is teaching working conditions. That's culture and climate discipline. When you put those all together, the last one's called the SIOP, which is your school improvement plan. We are teaching you the process that principals must know of how to develop a school improvement plan for their school. That's what we're doing, and that's what the state's requiring us to do. The state is requiring us as an electronic portfolio to teach you the school improvement plan process. That's one of the, if any of you have a little free time, Google NCGS, that's North Carolina General Statutes 115C 288, and you'll discover that one of the primary responsibilities of a school principal is to develop a school improvement plan. Guess what? Principals didn't know how to do that. So starting in 2010, the state of North Carolina, and now by extension South Carolina, is having us train you how to build a school improvement plan, and it's called Evidence Artifacts, a task stream portfolio. They weren't happy that administrative graduates knew how to build an improvement plan, school improvement plan. So we're teaching you the school improvement planning process. That's what this is. This is relevant. This is real. This is what you will have to do once you become a principal. You will be the manager and leader of this process. And I said both of those. You will be the manager and the leader of this process. Manager in that you will set the deadlines and form the groups and do all that. The leader in that you will set the initiatives and the directions. But this is how you build a school improvement plan for real. Now you might tell me that, well, I don't see any of this stuff going on in our school. Well, that may be true. But this is how it's supposed to be done. And that's what we're teaching. All right, let me go back and answer some more questions here. If we teach inclusion and are part of a teacher team to give the red, is that part of the leadership role? It can be, yes. The question is, if you teach inclusion and a part of a teacher team to give the regular ed teachers ideas and lessons, yeah, that would be a leadership role. It certainly would be. But now, understanding that the leadership role is the person who sets the norms and the values, the roles and responsibilities. You can't just be that we told them some stuff. No, we want you to run a PLC like DeFore says you're supposed to. Richard DeFore, what is a PLC? We want you to run it like that. Repeat the Google lookup. Oh, NCGS, North Carolina General Statute 115C 288. Now, 115C is all the state statutes for public schools in North Carolina. There's 545 of them. If you got some time, you ought to memorize them all. Neat trick to know. So 288 is duties and responsibilities of the school principal. That's when you're most relevant to you. And when you have me in 603 for school law, I will pound you on all those individual statutes. So you might as well go ahead and get started now. But that's a primary function of a principal, is to produce a school improvement plan every year, along with the school budget. Those are the two biggies. And so that's why we're teaching you to do that.
Dr. Lamb, I saw an earlier question.
288.
Dr. Lamb, I saw an earlier question. Somebody said that they saw their Zoom team membership, but they didn't have the contact information. That is in that first activity that you place in the discussion board, and that is where everybody is placing their information, and that's where you will find the contact information for the people in your Zoom groups.
So when you click on that, it'll be there. When you click on that first discussion board, everybody's information will pop up for you.
Most people have submitted. I've got a few people that still need to submit, but most have already submitted that information.
Okay. All right. The second of the 6 evidence artifacts that you'll be required to do this semester is the APTEL. And here is your rubric for the APSEL. Here is the rubric. All right, so for APSEL Task 1, research on PLCs must include a minimum of 3 resources and written in APA. The candidate documents, the PLC members and their role strengths. I mean, all you have, if you want an exemplar of what Task 1 should look like, just come right here, the rubric, and these should be your headings, and just write your paper right out of this right here on the accomplished category. We tell you what it's supposed to look like right here, and this is how we're going to grade it. We give you the directions, we tell you what to do, but you can just come right here and read what it's supposed to look like and what you're supposed to do right there in the accomplished category. And if you do that, you're good to go. I mean, you know, it's kind of like the answers in the back of the textbook. We gave you the teacher's edition of the textbook here. You got the answers in the back. Right here's what it's supposed to look like right here. This is the cheat sheet. This is what we're going to use to grade it right here. Here it is. No surprises. If you've done these things that are on this list, you're good to go. So when you send it to me, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to compare it to this list of stuff here under accomplished. I'm not going to look at proficient. You got to be better than average if you're going to work with me. And so I'm going to look at the accomplished list. If you've done everything that's on this list, it's just that simple. It's kind of like a checklist thing.
And Dr. Lamb,
it should have all those things in it.
I like to always ask them too, when you're looking at proficiency and accomplished, then if you have to go to a doctor, do you want a doctor that is just proficient, or do you want a doctor that is accomplished? So you should strive always, whatever you do, to be accomplished at whatever you're doing.
We've got enough average administrators in the state. We're trying to train you to be a good one or a great one. We'd like for you to be great, by the way. All right. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Analysis and action plan for teacher empowerment and leadership. This one only has 4 tasks. This one's going to be a good deal shorter than the first one. Conduct research reflecting various teacher empowerment and leadership best practices, resulting in a visual checklist of those best practices. I like Marzano. Some people like Whitaker. There's some newer ones. You just find one and that you like by doing your research. You conduct observational analysis. You do some teacher walkthroughs and see if those things are happening or not. You develop a leadership growth plan, and then you work on the competencies that you didn't do in the first part. So the 12 that you did for the APSEL, you do the 9 that you didn't do for that. You write a reflection of those 9. And so I believe they're right here. And there they are. Look at that. There they are. And so by the end of the semester, in each of the last tasks of the APSEL and the APTEL, you do a written reflection on those competencies that you believe you've done them. And then you show me evidence in your competency folio. You drop the evidence that you did them in there. But the analysis is more, what did you learn from that? And now, I don't want War and Peace. Don't have to be 1,000 pages long. So there's your 4 tasks, and right here are the individual prompts that go with them that tell you exactly what to do, for each of the 4 tasks. And then again, here is your cheat sheet right here in the back. Develops an extensive literature review and thoroughly aligns the best practices. Normally that's about 6 minimum. Thoroughly means 6. Is effective and thoroughly designed as an instrument. You can use Marzano, you can use Whitaker, you can use somebody else. And then it tells you exactly what we're looking for here. This one should not take you very long. This one is not quite as extensive as the AppSell. The AppTel is more of a kind of a staff development, where you develop a staff development. You look and see if teachers are, if they're being empowered. If not, you figure out staff development wise what you can do to empower them. This is not. This one definitely is not a lot of heavy lifting. It's more just doing your research. Okay, but it tells you exactly, as it does in the AppSell. I've gone back to it. It tells you exactly what to do. If you'll just follow your handbook, you'll be fine. Dr. Stedman will help you with your initial drafts when they're really rough and you're kind of embarrassed for anybody to see them. He will help you with those. Then when he tells you, you'll get them to your peers, and they'll tell you, and you'll work them up, and then they'll come to me, and I'll just go right down the rubric and make sure everything's there and it all makes sense to me, and then we'll put all of the tasks for that particular one together. When we have them all together, we'll submit them in task stream for evaluation, and everything will be good.
And Dr. Lamb, I'll go ahead and tell them, as you and I are working one-on-one, and I'm talking to the students, when you need me to look at something, this is where you won't put this into Blackboard or anything. I just want you to email me whatever it is you want me to look at, and I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to give you personal feedback on it that way. Yeah. Or you call me. This doesn't go into Blackboard because there's no grade that's going to go into Blackboard. I'm just helping you. So
we
you email me.
Opportunity. Excuse me, Dr. Stedman. We give you the opportunity without judgment, or without there being a repository or evidence that you were an idiot in the beginning. We give you the opportunity to learn, to fail, and to grow, and not be the very best the first time out. It's not where you start that's important. It's where you end. And so you're going to work with him, and it's not going to be in any repository anywhere. It's not going to be in Blackboard or task. You're going to have the opportunity to work and without judgment on
right. And Dr. Lamb, I will tell some of them too. A lot of students, it's just been a matter of just picking up or texted me and say, Dr. Stedman, can we talk for a few minutes? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, a 5-minute conversation is all you need to know what it is. Don't sit there and ponder over something hour after hour and say, well, if I call him, I'm going to bother him. Or it's okay. If I'm in a meeting, I'll text you back and say, I'll call you at such and such a time. You communicate with me, and do not sit there and wait, even on the weekend. You can text me, and I'll find some time to call you if you're working on something and you need my assistance. So it's okay.
Okay. So I'm available for calls and emails as well. You'll do, once it gets to my stage, but I prefer to drive the traffic to Blackboard, but I'm always available for calls and emails as well. Nights and weekends and holidays, we know that's when you work. But Dr. Stedman said something there that you need to, he said it twice, but you need to hear it again. If you look at this stuff and you're stumped for more than 5 minutes about what to do, call one of us or email one of us or text one of us. This stuff is really, we took this stuff, and for years we used a set of notes called Dale's Notes, and I'd be the Dale of Dale's Notes. But we finally figured out, if our directions are so obtuse that we have to have a set of notes to tell you what to do, why don't we integrate Dale's Notes into the actual, so we no longer do components, we now do tasks, and we have written the tasks as we had and in the notes, the companion notes that went with the program. We just put them all together now to make them simple. And so if you look at this stuff and you can't figure out in 5 minutes where to go, you need to call or email or text one of us and get started, because you don't have time to sit and ponder this stuff. You know, you need to, it needs to come to you. You need to be moving. And if you don't, Dr. Stedman's really good to help you get you moving. And so make sure you do that. Where are the rubrics? The rubrics are in the handbook. Dr. Stedman, where's your handbook in your course?
Okay, it's on Blackboard.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that they need is in Blackboard.
Oh, yeah, you've got a tab on the side that has the handbook.
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. Now look, if you'll look at mine, right here, this is mine, and I've got on the side as well, I've got a place for MELS handbook. Dr. Stedman does too. And so when you click on that, that's where these handbooks are. And they're the one that has the total details. Now, like here, I just give you the overview on this. Go in and put them in for me to look at them and give you input feedback. I've just got them here as one last reminder. The actual directions are in the handbook, and they are, that's just like having a cheat sheet to have those things. So I've seen students try to write these things and do these things without getting, I don't want to read all that handbook, but the handbook is just directions on what to do step by step. It makes it really easy.
And
because we integrate the notes into them.
I would suggest, even though it's there for you electronically, you may want to print off a copy of the handbook and put it in a binder so that you've got it at your fingertips wherever you are to take it with you.
Yeah, I mean, students, that's the first thing students usually do is print them off and put them in a notebook, and they've got them with them, and you don't even have to do electronically. Let's see, I'm at 106E. All right. Backspace. Okay, somebody asked about my information. It's right here. I think Dr. Stedman has it, but I'll send him this email and he can send it out to y'all. I think it's on my email. Let's see. Get out of my way. Yeah. I don't know what's happened here. My old email, that's okay. I can fix that. 106. All right, call me on my phone or text me on my phone. My office phone, I'm there usually a couple days a week, but I'm on the road out supervising clinical internships. You will have somebody come by your school. It may be me, according to what area of the state you live in. I may be the one that drops in, but I have, what is it? I've got 16 people that do that I supervise, and I do mine.
Yes.
I do the same thing everybody else does, and that's one of those lessons in leadership. I teach classes just like everybody else. I go out and take my share of intern visits just like everybody else. I coach people's classes just like everybody. But that's what you're supposed to do. That doesn't make me any better. I'm not wonderful for doing that. That's the modern vision of leadership. And that's what we're trying to teach you as well, is that, what this program does. And Dr. Malia Neal was here with me. I'm at the Charlotte campus tonight, and I was doing a training section with Dr. Malia Neal. She also teaches a section of 601. And what we were talking about tonight is the evidence artifacts and learning how to build a school improvement plan knocks out all the people who just want to be principals so they can go sit in their office all day and talk on the phone or use social media. what we're training you to do is be workers, to be servant leaders. And if you do that, you'll be very successful in this business. If you have the skills and you're willing to work. And so part of it, people say, gosh, you're working us to death. And my response to that is, and your point is, you think that's going to change when you get to be a school administrator? You better learn time management and be more efficient. You know, if you can get the big picture in your head, I mean, we're only really asking you to write evidence based on these tasks, and you will generate the artifacts as a byproduct of that, and we got a place for you to put them. I mean, if you catch on to the system, and you will fairly quickly, you know, we're teaching you how to work smarter, not harder. And so
Dr. Lamb, somebody asked for my information. I saw that question. It's on your course syllabus. It's on the front page of your course syllabus, my information.
So there's mine. I just sent it to Dr. Stedman. He'll get mine.
You want this computer to the email? You go use your phone.
All right.
Well, let me
Dr.
know where
Stedman's
you.
is on his. Close. What should I do? Okay. Private. All right. I think we're hitting our 40-minute, or we're well past 40
We're
minutes.
well past it, yes.
But maybe you can log back on if we're still open.
Okay, mine is I did it for enough time.
Okay, you're good
Okay.
then. All right, we're good to go. All right. So AppSell. Tuesday, I'll come back on, cover this stuff again. But by then, hopefully, you can establish your TaskStream account, your DRF portfolio. We'll send you through your message center the link to your competency folio. I'll show you how to set that up. Get started on your task one of your AppSell. Start setting up your PLC or taking leadership role in it. You know, be more concerned about the content of your peer reviews for the first couple than the process of Zoom. Use Zoom to get together and do some socializing and learn how to use it. Make it your friend. We have task streams somewhere to set this up. You don't have task directions on how to set it up because it's not ready to be set up yet. When we put the directions out, I get 1,000 emails. Mine don't work. Well, it's not ready to be set up yet. I'll do that Tuesday. I'm having a general town hall meeting on Tuesday. And if TaskStream didn't blow up, if Seth's able to get Banner to download into TaskStream tomorrow and it doesn't blow up, when I come online Tuesday, I'll explain that and then I will send the directions out. But if I do it before then, I'll get 1 million. Mine doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. We're technically not supposed to do it until Tuesday because that's the official end of drop ads. Everybody that they drop into TaskStream costs the university a lot of money. You paid it, and then they have to. It's a pass through. Problem is say they drop somebody in that dropped out, they don't get the money, but they got to pay for that license anyway. So technically, we're supposed to wait till Tuesday to drop ad, but I'm having Seth drop it in tomorrow anyway. And but we won't try to run it till Tuesday, but we'll have it ready to go, and we'll be able to go in by hand, take out anybody that drops between tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll be able to take them out by hand. I'd rather do it that way. Always, when we drop a big batch in, we always crash, and so I don't want to wait till Tuesday and crash. I want to crash tomorrow and have it fixed for Tuesday. September 5th town hall meeting at 6 p.m. That is correct. And you'll get to hear all this again. But you won't hear anything about the evidence, or you'll just hear about TaskStream then, mostly, and the Blackboard shell. But I'll be a lot briefer for that. I put a 1 hour time limit on myself there, because everybody else's coach is having this same meeting to talk about all to get down the weeds and talk all the details. The broad strokes will be Tuesday. And hopefully by then I'll be able to turn you loose to start your TaskStream portfolio.
You were right.
And that your XM shell for internship will be in there by Tuesday as well, I hope. If it were up to me, it would be there now. I mean, I have the shell built. You see that. I just have to wait for. Again, they want to wait until after drop ad to drop students into these things because it costs money. It costs money to put you in Blackboard. It costs money to put you in TaskStream. And if students have dropped out, they can't recoup that cost. So they get a little bit uneasy about putting students in things that cost them money before they're sure that they're going to get the money from the student. It's just simply a pass-through. You pay a fee. The university doesn't keep any of that. They just pass it through to these vendors. And if they don't get the money, the vendor still wants theirs. So that's simply what it is. It's not we're holding. It's not that we're incompetent and we're waiting or we're holding it back. It's just simply a money thing. We got to wait till drop ad, which is Tuesday, and that's why we're having the first meeting on Tuesday. By then, if you're with us on Tuesday, you should be with us. The drop ad is over as of Tuesday morning. But I encourage you all to hang in there with us. This is tried and true. You're not guinea pigs. This is not something that we just fly by night into. We do this every day. This is what we do for a living. We produce excellent administrators. We have folks getting jobs. We've placed the most people in jobs of any university in the state by far. Not even close. So if you stay with us, we have a process. We'll take you right through it. We're not guessing. We're not hoping. We have a plan. We do this every semester. We take students spring and fall. We do this every semester. We run and go right on through. It works. We have very few that don't make it. Very few, and none of ours never make it because I'll put you in 699 and work with you until you're as old as I am. You don't want to be like Shirley and stay for 5 years, but if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. At the end of your 3-semester program, if you didn't finish your portfolio, we'll put you in a 699 and I'll work with you individually. Cost you $520 a semester till you get done. We're not going to walk away from you. That $520 represents the fee you pay the university. That means I work for free. But you didn't make it through, my responsibility to get you through. So if you don't make it, then I have to. So it behooves me to work with you up front, because if I don't, then I punish myself by working with you for free after that. You have to pay the university the fee, $520, that I don't get paid, and I don't need to get paid. If I didn't get you through, then that's my responsibility to get you through. You didn't get in this for the good of the group or because you like me. You got in it, for us to get you what you needed, and that's what we're committed to doing.
Dr. Lamb, I just want to remind them again, I encourage you to please make sure you're at, if at all possible, join in on the town hall session on Tuesday. Dr. Lamb and I are going to have you back again on Thursday, and then after that, unless there is an emergency or we see that there's a need, it goes back to just the one session each week, and it'll be me, and then there's times you've seen the schedule. Dr. Lamb will join us at other times, but they won't be as long as what we're having now. But we both felt like that it was most important that we have this week and next week that we gave you as firm a foundation as possible, and that's why they're like they are. But again, you won't be having to do this every week after we can get through next week, okay? Just know that.
No, I won't be back a few more times this semester, and I definitely won't stay this long again. So, but I will see you again next Thursday, the 7th, a week from today. I'll be back with you. That one should be 30 minutes or less from me. I'm just going to follow up to make sure that everything that hopefully by then that you've got your TaskStream portfolio, your competency folio. I'm going to probably at that time is when I'm going to help you set up your competency folio. I'm not going to talk about evidence artifacts again. I've already talked about those. This is just to make sure that Blackboard's working and TaskStream's working, and I'm out.
And again, communicate with me on an individual basis, and many of you have, as you're figuring a lot of this stuff out. If you need me on an individual basis, feel free to reach out to me.
All right. I am going to Dr. Stedman, you going to take the host back now?
Yes, and then I'm going to go ahead and close out because I think we've had a long session. They've got a lot to absorb. But again, you know that you can email me, you can reach out to me, and just follow what is on the course syllabus and just follow the guide. If there's something you don't understand, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to explain it to you. Dr. Lamb, thank you so much.
Dr. Stedman, you're going to record this and
Yes.
the link will be live. You'll send them the email link.
I
He'll take care of that. All right.
I will. Yes.
All right. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Okay, you're going to turn it back over to me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Gail. I think it was a good meeting.
Thank you. I'm going to hit end meeting. And
Okay.
it should start. You should start.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank everybody.